cold, and that's how you get sick. That's how you get a summer cold, right? How's everybody? Huh? Thank you. It's my camp hat right there. Block all the complete sun coverage. And actually, I realized yesterday it was a great rain hat too, because it was pouring while we were out there yesterday, and like I stayed all very dry in here. There was I was trying to read my script, and there was like a waterfall coming off my head, but it like kept this part of me very dry. So, huh? I mean, because we got to play outside in the rain, so we got to get used to it. Those are little things. It's the first couple days of camp. That was actually a big benefit to get it. Really, like a big downpour in the middle of practice, just could happen during the course of a game, and just adjust and be able to handle all little different adversities that pop up on you. And successful teams, really, successful teams can handle all the different adversities that come out with them throughout the season. But even within the course of a game or within the course of a practice, whatever team handles the adversity better is going to be the team that wins the game. So, good couple days of practice, right? Caleb Dressel, I guess, not as good as his couple of days, right? I mean, he had a good couple of days, right? That was pretty good for him. Good to see Gators do well. No, good first couple of days of practice, getting lots of reps in, lots of install going in right now. You're just seeing, where guys at, how guys are picking it up. Still a long time, to figure out who's going to be ready to play. I'm pleased with the older guys. I mean, they've picked stuff up pretty good. They seem pretty confident in what we're doing. The younger guys, then you got to separate the younger guys that are who's picking it up and who's just swimming right now. Just can't figure stuff out, to see, but they get a little break now. We're going to do a review day tomorrow. So we've done 4 straight installs. We'll review tomorrow's, and then they're off the next day. So they really now, after this practice, there's nothing new going in. They get to walk. They get to watch the film. They get to walk through a review of the first 4 days tomorrow, another day off to review it all. So it really give a chance for these guys right now to catch up and see and get where they need to be to see if they're ready to get on the field and really be contributors before we continue to move forward with installations after that. What do y'all want to know?
So other than familiarity with schemes, where have you seen the most strides, maybe from camp a year ago?
Well, I mean, one, everybody understands what we're trying to do, so everything's cleaner, you know what I mean, out there at practice. I think we got to make sure we're staying the intensity, the sense of urgency, the grind, the strain every day. Because I think last year guys were really trying to learn scheme, but they could really clamp on to, hey, I might not know what I'm doing, but I can go really hard. I think there's a lot more confidence in what they're doing right now, so they're paying more attention to how I'm making plays, how I'm fitting the exactness and the techniques. I think that's a lot better. I got after him today. We were a little slow this morning, so we got after him a little bit just to get going, to get that strain and that intensity, of getting to practice, and I mean, not just with getting from drill to drill, straining, running, and just reminding them that, because I think now they're so into really mastering the football side of it, but you can't lose the strain side and the effort side.
Where is pads tomorrow? Start?
Full pads tomorrow. We had just helmets and shoulder pads today.
So how physical, I think we asked you this last year, but how physical do you want camp to be? I saw someone observing, another writer was at the Canes practice today, saying hadn't seen 15 minutes, saw more contact than he saw at the Dolphins in 5 days. do you expect, to be a physical
that doesn't surprise
camp?
me with like a Manny, and you see that stuff, with him. And first-year coach, of really trying to get guys to buy in and understand the system and understand physicality. But we're pretty physical. We get after it with guys. Obviously you got to be smart. There's that fine balance of what we're doing. We're not physical just to be physical. We're making sure we're physical to teach and execute and improve that way. But we're always going to be. I always want to be a team that's that is an effort physically based. You play us. I want people to know after the game that you played us with the physicality that we're, and that's just a mindset you have to have, and you attack at practice that way. So. Yeah, but I mean, fortunately, the first 2 days you have no pads. Unfortunately, we got through those with no injuries. Now you get the pads on, so you're a little bit safer. And we're going to run camp how we've run camp. We tweak little things here and there off of schedules. This year we got a little bit more time that we're in class than we were some of the past. So you just tweak little things, but we're going to run camp how we run camp, be a pretty physical group.
Yeah, with the playmakers you have and different guys, whether it's Kadarius and all these guys, does it expand the playbook or reduce it because you just want to get the ball in their hands?
Well, I think this. One, it allows you to kind of, it's a little bit of both, if you will, because what you're going to be able to do is, within the base scheme of your offense, you're not really concerned who gets the ball because if you have some depth, you just put the guys out there, and whatever the defense is, we take it. I don't care which receiver we throw the ball to within our reads. But it will expand maybe in some get-it-tos, you know what I mean, where but the guys are confident in just running the scheme. But we want to make sure, because if I just go and run our general scheme, you could scheme and say, okay, if I'll go in the defensive room, help them, we can eliminate it. You can eliminate anybody from a game plan off of just base offense. Now, you got to have to possibly move guys around, do different things to scheme ways to get them the ball. So that part can expand. So you have, and not by a lot, but just a little bit, and say, okay, hey, Van Jefferson doesn't have a catch yet. Here, okay, boom. This is a play that's going to get him the ball, and get him into the flow of the game, that type of way.
And does it change your game plan because you have uncertainty on the offensive line, or do you stay with what you always do?
We'll stay with what we do. I'm not as uncertain. I mean, my uncertainty on offensive line is depth. If we can stay healthy, I'm okay. And it's just how fast we can accelerate some of the real young guys to get going. I mean, you got to look how we run practice. You guys come out. I mean, you guys are out there in spring. You get to watch practice sometimes. Everybody gets the same reps, and part of that is for player development. So, just because the difference between last year's starters on the O-line and this year's starters that were some bunch were backups last year is the number of game reps they've had. They've had a lot of practice reps, so they have some experience. It's when you start getting younger guys that don't that haven't had spring, fall camp, season, spring, fall camp, and they haven't had as many of them, and they're in limited reps. That just the numbers, they're still trying to get caught up.
Dan, I don't remember exactly how it works, but I know there was some discussion about whether you guys would be able to host recruits for this Miami game. Have you guys decided that yet?
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think the issues, one, it's a dead period still. So, one, we'd have to get a special waiver from the NCAA to even have recruits come to it, and then I think both teams would have to figure it out. One of the hard things about that at the neutral site games and having recruits at neutral is just the logistics. It's not your stadium. And this isn't, but sometimes play these neutral site games at NFL stadiums, security is very different. And so there becomes a lot of gymnastics having to do that. And, it's unfortunate because I know these guys want to come to the games, but it's just part of playing in these kind of big neutral site games.
Yeah, when Michael P. Ryan was still in high school, Mississippi State was, I think, his first SEC offer, only one there for a while. What was it you saw about him then that stood out, and does it still hold water?
Well, hopefully I saw what we're seeing now, that he's a really good football player, We spent a lot of time there just trying to find guys that would fit us, you know what I mean? And guys that are just all around. They have just some secret gems. I think a guy like P. Ryan, you watch him play, and there might not be one thing that jumps out at you and say, wow, like you just put on a highlight film, but that's special, But you watch his consistency of play and his complete game. You know what I mean? He's got great vision. He can play physical. He has good speed. He catches the ball well. So I think all of us back then, even those, it was there's some guys that have things that maybe pop out on film, like, hey, this guy runs a 4.2 40, so everybody in the country offer him. He was a guy that kind of did everything really well, and that's how we used to kind of evaluate to try to get those guys that everything goes well. I'm glad he came here, though. Now. Worked out good for me.
How's Jacob Copeland looked? I mean, he looks like he's really packed on some muscle.
Yeah, he is, and he can run, and he's strong. The thing is, he went through with dealing with injuries last season and camp, and even going through spring ball. it's almost like, it's almost like he's an advanced freshman because he hasn't got the reps to even do it. So he's still learning the offense, and not kind of the second time around. It's all kind of new for him. But now he's a little more advanced because he's kind of been through it in the meetings and learning it and been around it. But he hasn't been out there on the field doing it. But he's looked pretty good in picking things up. And he's got a great skill set. He's got size, power, and speed, and he catches the ball pretty well. So, and I think what did we give him the hand of the? We gave him the ball once. How many times? He had like one touch for like 20-some bunch of yards last year. His yards per touch last year was pretty good. So we'll have to try to get him the ball some this year.
Yeah, what's he gonna have to do to show that he knows where he's going and doing?
I think it's just learning, and then it's our job, and that's part of development though. On our job, is you look at and you have these receivers that we have a lot of experience at the receiver position and some playmakers. But if you look at guys like him and Rick Wells that are really kind of, the guys that are going to be kind of coming next in the future, in the immediate, after this year, we have some exodus of some seniors. It's our job to get those guys in the game and get them reps and get them to play and get them experience, but also try to make sure we're putting them in situations to go be successful. One, we want to get them ready to be every down players. You never know. But even this year, let's get them some get them in the game, let them do some things they do well, build some confidence so they get ready to be every down players.
Is there anyone, is he maybe one of them that really has stood out, the jumps they made this offseason? Maybe I just didn't notice, but that guy's put together.
He's put together. The receiver, him and Rick, I think Rick's doing pretty good. Rick Wells looks like he's taking some big steps forward. The older guys, probably it's that you expect, you know what I mean? So I guess you expect so much more out of them. Ethan White's he's lost like a junior high kid. But no, I don't. I guess that's hard for me because I kind of see him so much. So I don't see the big jump gains because you see him all the time. So, it's like, oh, this guy probably has gained. But, he's gained a bunch, but I haven't noticed because I'm viewing him from where he was like a couple days ago to not where he was a year ago. Bueller. Which one? We have a couple of CJs. CJ Henderson? Yeah. He's done a really good job. Getting his body and being strong and stout and being ready to play. He had to play a lot last year. And I think that, sometimes that happens. You get that experience and learn to prepare your body for a long season.
Last year, you're kind of still learning the team, and we could see as the season goes on, you're adding things or taking things away. If guys maybe, hey, that's not working, let's take it out. Does that change in year two, or are you still right now kind of figuring out what guys can do, even though you have a lot of returners?
I think we have a little better idea what guys can do skill set wise. As a team, you still got to figure out what type of team we're going to be. The leadership of the team, how everybody comes together, how we deal with the adversity of both success and failure, and just general adversities that get the curveballs that get thrown out of you. So I want to see that and see how the leadership and the team chemistry reacts to those things. But I think we have a much better idea of the skill set of the players, of making sure what we're putting them in positions to be successful.
Is that, I guess, one of the biggest advantages, not being a first-year coach of the first-year team? Versus
It helps because, this time last year, you're trying to find out about the players, but we still haven't played a game. And, it even took us a couple games because, practice really equates a lot to games, but there's some guys that'll, some guys show this in practice and they do it right in practice and it looks solid, but in the game they do it special. And there's other guys that do it right and they get to a game they just can't do the right thing, or lights come on and it's too big a stage for them. So those are things that I think you have a better feel for the players and just general skill set of them overall, of how fast they're going to pick it up, how they can transition, what they do well, and how to put them in that position to be successful.
When we talked to the guys Saturday after practice, they mentioned Felipe and the receivers throwing in the IPF at like 11, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, just getting extra work in. When did you see, and they talked about his leadership, when did you see maybe that change for him and him kind of embrace that more?
Well, I don't know. I think having gone through a whole year, now you're more confident in the position, confident in what you're doing. I don't know. They go do that, so I don't know why they wouldn't do that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have to go at like 11 o'clock or midnight. They have just as much. Yeah, class. We didn't have any classes start before 11 a.m., so they could have got there like 9:15 in the morning. But I guess they wanted to sleep. So, the. No, but I think for him the combination one, he's a little more experienced in the system, so he's a little more confident knowing what he's doing. Been through a season, so kind of know what to expect moving forward and how to improve yourself. And it helps, I think, having veteran receiver group because they can help. It's not just the quarterback has to lead them. You look at guys like Van Jefferson that are unbelievable work ethics. Tyree and Josh and all those guys, the seniors. Freddie, all of them. So it's not all just Felipe having to kind of, hey, let's go, let's lead. Those guys want to do that too, and they understand how to work. So I think that all helps. And it certainly helps the quarterback of learning how to be that guy when you have all the assistance of the other guys that want to do it.
Dan, we were talking to Damian Pierce, and he was saying that he thinks because of the veterans you guys have at kind of all the spots and the knowledge of the offense, you guys will be able to ramp up quicker during fall camp. Is that something you planned for specifically?
Yeah, no, we do. You try to install at the pace of where you think everybody's ready, especially the quarterback. I try to install pace of the quarterback a lot. And then everybody's got to catch up to that. But and especially you got the quarterback's receiver, so you can. We're going at a pretty good clip. I could go even faster, but then it would start to get to going beyond other guys, and you're just there's only so many reps in a day that you can get, so you're kind of looking, hey, this is what we want to put in. But as far as the advanced part of being able to check and do other things, you can do that a lot faster when you have a veteran group.
Do you have a leadership council?
Yes.
Forgive my ignorance. Who's on it? How many guys?
I think there's 11 right now.
Oh, okay.
I think there's 11. Sometimes it tweaks anywhere from 8 to 12, depending on time of year and the guys that we feel good about and how it breaks down by class and who needs to be in there.
Who do you go to when you want to really know what's kind of going on with the team, the mood, all that? Do you need that kind of pulse?
I pick a lot of different people. I can't reveal my sources.
Does that help a lot, though?
Huh?
Is it helpful?
Yeah. You always want to know what's going on in the team. But there's a lot of different people I check with on all that stuff because I want to find out all different angles of what's going on with the team. You got to know because I'm gonna base our schedule off a lot of that stuff. Of where the attitude of the team at, what the feeling of the team at, where everybody's at, and because ultimately our job's to maximize everybody's performance. And to do that, you got to know where their mindset is as well as where they are physically and the attitude.
Who's the youngest guy on there?
I don't know. There's freshmen on there, not new freshmen, like redshirt freshmen, last year's freshmen.
You don't reveal who's on it, though? I'm just kind of
I
curious.
know Randy Russell's the youngest freshman. He's a young freshman that's on there. I'm
just kind of curious where you see the
remember
leadership going.
Yeah, well, I try to spread it out that way to have some younger guys. I don't know that they're the most vocal ones, but at least they're on the council and they get to learn what the things that we expect from them.
You're separated from the players a lot during the off season. What's maybe from the other strength coaches and stuff, what's maybe one of the best things you heard about a guy, either on or off the field even?
Well, the guys?
Yeah, just a particular player or two that's something you
I
heard
don't
that
know if
you
it's
were
particular, 'cause
pleased to hear.
I like to hear all the team stuff. And to me, it's like team activities. I like to do that. If the guys that, if the team shows up and while they're here at the facility, they work their tail off and do what they're supposed to do, we're going to improve. We're going to be solid. To me, the positive stuff is when they leave the facility and it's not just, okay, we did our work, everybody go their separate ways. When they go and hang out and have like a team cookout or, guys will be like, hey, we're having all the guys over for a team cookout and a pool party today. Those are the things to me that show the teams a little bit. They enjoy being around each other both on the field and off the field. Just shows a closeness of the team, and that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, going back to Felipe, when did you see him start to loosen up, so to speak, and how does that kind of trickle down and translate to the team? Sorry if that's ambiguous.
Probably after the season. And going back and reviewing it and after he probably reflected on the whole season and getting into spring, of knowing. And I think loosen up because I think he was, going through it the second time, going out on the field and knowing that he knew kind of what he was doing. It allows you to be a little bit more confident that way. And in that, because I mean he stayed pretty uptight through most of the season. I tried. I mean, I danced with him on the sidelines and try to get him loosen up and have some fun. And but I think going into like spring ball when he had a little bit more confidence, it allowed him to be a lot more relaxed in knowing and go when you sit there and you go through an install and you be like, oh, I know that. I'm not just learning it, I know it. I think that allows you to have a lot more confidence and be a lot more relaxed and have some fun while we're playing.
I mean, would it be safe to say?
Huh?
Would it be safe to say that on the field, off the field, personality-wise, the team will go as he goes?
No, we got a lot of personalities on the team. He's one of our leaders, but we got a bunch of, one thing that helps, a lot of times that happens, but we got a lot of veteran wide receivers. There's, so I mean, those guys will get after, it's not like, hey, we're going to go just as you go. They'll get after him just as easily. But I mean, we're very much, I mean, if you look, if he has a great year, we have a chance to have a great year. If he has a bad year, I would probably have a pretty bad year, though. I mean, very rarely you're going to have a great season if your quarterback doesn't perform very well.
Was that bothersome that he was so uptight when you got here?
It is. That's why we got to adjust and coach. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, our job's to just get to the players and how to make them better and improve them. So I don't know. It's bothersome. I mean, kind of like looking at him like, man, you don't need to be so uptight. It's just a game. Huh? Yeah, I mean, you want to see. I want the team. There's a big difference between having fun and being confident and being silly and goofy as a team. And as you grow and mature, and the guys can really learn that difference, they should be having a lot of fun, but it shouldn't be silly and goofy. They should have fun doing what we're doing, having fun working, having fun embracing the game and playing hard. And I think that's an important part for all the guys to learn. And I think. So, I'd much rather be uptight than all loosey-goosey, I mean, and kind of like, at least they're uptight, you're probably focused, instead of just kind of like you could care less. But, I mean, the best way to be is to be confident and kind of relaxed and having fun. That's the best way to be.
Where did the dance fall? Is it goofy or?
No, as long as it's at the right, it's the appropriate, it's knowing when to do things and how to relax. You know what I mean? And hey, when I'm performing well, I'm having a good time. I know what's going on out there in the field. I got it. Not, hey, we jumped off sides 5 times in a row. That type of deal. Yeah. Oh.
I won.
Uh-oh, sneaking one
I
in,
know,
waiting
sneaking
to
one
the end.
in. I was wondering if you had a status on R.J. Henderson, if he did get on campus over the weekend.
No, not since last time, because even though we worked, most of the university and most of everybody else that deals with that stuff hasn't. So he's still he's finishing the class, actually.
Is Huggins back today?
Yeah, I got to check with him with the family situation. Here you go.